Hey everybody, it's Julia. You'll have to excuse me, I'm starting to be cold. So, anyway, story time. Yesterday, uh, around, I want to say 2 in the afternoon, I started having chest pain. Um, I was sitting on the couch, watching my kiddo play. He didn't want me to play with him, but he wanted somebody to just kind of be in the room with him. So I was watching him play, um, and I started getting chest pain. And I didn't think anything of it at first because I've had chest pain in the past, and it's usually turned out to be my anxiety. So I figured, oh, it's just a random bout of anxiety. It will pass. My chest started to tighten up, and then I started having shortness of breath. And then my arms and hands started to tingle. And I said to myself, oh shit. I said, I am not having a heart attack right now. I was like, okay, honey, you need to call the ambulance because now my arms are tingling. That's not good. Excuse me. So I go into the ER and they do my vitals and everything. Before that, uh, when the ambulance came to get me, sorry, I'm kind of scatterbrained right now because I have a lot to talk about. When the ambulance came and they put me into the ambulance, uh, they put the nitroglycerin pill under my tongue, and brought my blood pressure down a little bit, which helped the tightness in my chest. They also put an IV in and they pricked my finger to test my blood sugar. And my blood sugar was high. They told me it was 240 something. I can't remember that exact number. So they get me to the ER, and when I talked to the doctor, they hooked me up to an EKG. They took a couple blood samples, did chest x-rays. Everything was checking out as far as my heart went. And the doctor that I was seeing, you know, questioned me about any pain, and I told him I did have some pain in my abdomen on the right side, upper right. It was kind of sore, kind of tender. Um, he said, "Okay, well, we're gonna keep you here a little bit. We're gonna run a couple more tests. We're gonna do another EKG and things, you know." So they did that, and doctor came back and he said, "Well, everything's checking out. What I think is going on is I think your gallbladder, you're having issues with your gallbladder." Yay! He said, "So I'm gonna have to have you come back in tomorrow, and they'll do a ultrasound on your gallbladder." He also, at this point, mentioned, he said, "We did check your blood sugar again." He said, and it was 250. He said, "I think, and you are going to have to confirm this with your doctor, you're going to have to talk to your doctor about getting tested again." He said, "I think you have passed the threshold of being borderline or pre-diabetic, and you are now in the type 2 diabetic. You are possibly now type 2 diabetic." That hit me hard because I've been working my butt off, you know. It's like, oh crap, this isn't good. This is. I broke down when I got home. Anyway, so this morning I got up and I couldn't have anything past midnight. I didn't have anything to eat or drink past 7 o'clock. So my appointment, I went in at 8:20. We ended up, my appointment was supposed to be at 9. They wanted me to come in at 8:45 with the crud on the roads, the mix of sand and snow. It's really slippery and kind of hard to get a stroller through. So we had left early, so I was early. They did the test. Had to wait for that to come, had to wait for them to look at that and see what everything's at. So then they took me in again, and the nurse, asked me what was going on, took my temperature, took my vitals, took my weight. Okay, now here's the silver lining in all of this. Okay, I've been working my butt off, and I have lost 14 pounds. I went from 260 to 246. 14 pounds in, I think it's been about a month and a half. Which is a lot, but again, I'm big, and that will probably, that big weight loss is not going to happen every time. And this has been over several week period. This has not been like I lost 14 pounds in a week. I lost it over probably about a month and a half. So there's my silver lining. So they take me back to the back again, and they sit me in a room, and I'm waiting to hear the results of my, gallbladder ultrasound. So I waited a while. They were really busy. They got swamped. It's the ER, so that happens. So I'm waiting and I'm waiting. And I'm like, I'm getting more and more nervous as I'm waiting because, this is a big deal because this could mean a lot of things. This could mean surgery. This could mean, what medication. This could mean, whatever. There's so many things that, what they find could mean. So they could find nothing. They could find a lot of things wrong. So finally, the doctor comes in, and doctor tells me that I have gallstones. And I'm like, great, because I know what that means. I've known people who've gone through the same thing. That means it's time for surgery. So I had the option to either call the surgeon or just go up to the second floor and make an appointment. So I was there, so I made the appointment on the second floor. Before I had gone up there, they told me, okay, well, now you need to eat like no fat. They were like, no fat. And I'm like, great. Because as it stands, we're at the point where we're kind of running low on food, and what we do have is fatty as hell. It's fat. Everything has tons of fat and saturated fat. Lots of saturated fat, I've noticed. Ugh. So I'm like, great. So basically, right now, I can't eat much of anything in my house. Unless somebody, one of my friends is nice and says, oh, I have some extra money. I can help you with groceries or whatever. But, yeah, I'm not expecting it, obviously. I'm not going to ask either. So when we went up to make the appointment for the surgeon, which is on the 25th at 3 p.m. Yay. I don't like afternoon appointments. I'd like to get them done over with and have the rest of my day, but I have an afternoon appointment for surgery. The receptionist said, "So what did they tell you about your, you know, like as far as your diet goes?" And I'm like, all they said is don't eat fat. And she just had this look on her face, like, are you serious? Like, I can't believe that's all they told you. So she's like, hold on, I have something. She goes, I don't have much, but I have something that kind of gives you a clue as to like the things that you can eat and the things that you can't. So she basically gave me a little list that says, okay, out of this food group, these are the kind of things that you can still have as long as it's at, like these levels. And then here's the stuff you need to just avoid altogether. So that list is really helpful. And then after that, I went to my doctor's office, which is literally the next building over. And I made an appointment for myself uh, and my son. My son has had a cough for a while, and I just want to get it checked out. Just make sure that it's not anything serious, or if it's just a lingering cough that's we just got to deal with for a while. And so, the receptionist was like, "We haven't seen you in a while." And I'm like, "Yeah." She's like, "So what do you need to see your doctor for?" And I'm like, "Diabetes." And she's looking at me like, She's looking at me like, "Oh no." And I'm like, "Yeah. And I'm getting my gallbladder taken out in 2 weeks." And she's like, "What?" Looking at me like, "What? You haven't come to see us in a while, and all these health problems all of a sudden." Well, not all of a sudden. They've been kind of creeping up there because all these years I haven't really been taking care of my body that well. And the last month and a half, I've been like, okay, let's get in gear. Well, I'm a little late. Now, with the diabetes, I know that it can be reversed. So that's good news. But when I talk to my doctor next week, I'm going to ask to be tested. I have my A1Cs checked. Ask about my A1Cs, rather, about having those checked. Talk to her about all the meds I'm on. Talk to her about the next steps, if I'm going to have to go on insulin, or if she wants me to start, maybe, if she wants me to start um, checking my blood sugars at home, because up until this point, she has never mentioned that, which I felt kind of weird. That seemed odd to me, considering she diagnosed me as borderline. Because when I remember my father figure uh, having being diabetic, um, when he was borderline, before he went full diabetic, when he was borderline, they had him checking his sugar. They said, you get the testing supplies and you check your sugar as if you were diabetic. I guess they don't do that anymore, which I think is kind of weird. I think that would be a good idea because you want to know what your sugars are at so that you know you look at what you eat and you look at your blood sugar and you go, okay, you kind of put two and two together and you go, okay, well, I can change my diet before you even go into diabetes, go into full blown diabetes. But whatever, I mean, they're the medical professionals, so they want to do that, whatever. But, it is what it is. Just gonna keep going the way I'm going right now. I'm gonna keep working out. I'm gonna keep adjusting my diet the best I can. I'm just, and I don't know if you heard that, but my computer is dinging at me. I don't want it to ding at me. All this happening kind of all at once. I kind of expected it because I turned 30 in November, and the all ominous they like to say when you hit 30, you fall apart, you start falling apart. Well, I feel like that's where I'm at. I'm part of that little statistic. When you turn 30, you fall apart. Well, that's what I feel like. I have to have my gallbladder taken out. I might have to start insulin and checking my blood sugars on a regular basis. And honestly, and I know I'm not, okay? Let me just say that what I'm about to say, sorry, my computer is. What I'm about to say, I know deep in here, deep in there somewhere, that it's not true, but this is what I'm feeling, and I need to express it and get it out so that I can continue forward. So basically, I feel like a failure. I've been working my butt off trying to avoid these kinds of things happening. And here I am sitting on a mountain of issues. I'm sitting on a mountain of issues. I have the fibro. I have the degenerative disc disease. I have the arthritis. I have the PTSD, the depression, the anxiety. I'm overweight. I'm gonna have to have my gallbladder removed because of gallstones. I'm going to possibly have to take insulin instead of taking a pill and having to check my, blood sugar on a regular basis. I might be diabetic, all because I didn't do this sooner. That's what I'm beating myself up about. I've tried in the past and I've always given up. And I feel like a damn failure because I could have prevented this. I could have done something about it earlier. Now, yes, diabetes runs in my family, and there is that genetic, there's that genetic, what is the word I'm looking for? Marker, or whatever you want to call it. Marker, I guess. That's the only word I can come up with. There's that genetic marker that says, oh, we are, we're this likely to get diabetes. So, yeah, I've been sitting on that since I was a teenager, knowing that my dad had diabetes. Um, and even then I was fat, and even then I didn't change anything. I didn't think I needed to. That was just me being dumb. Um, and then all the times I gave up, because I thought, what's the fucking point? Pardon my language. What the heck's the point? I waited till I was freaking 30 years old, and after Christmas, to start this journey and really go for it. Because I knew in my head at that point, before that point even, that this was basically my last chance. And I should have done it earlier, and I should have stuck to it when I started before in the past, and I didn't. So I feel like a failure. But as I said, I know in here, in the back of my head somewhere, that that's not true. It could have possibly not been prevented because, again, genetics or what have you. I I could be thin and still have these issues. Just because I'm thinner does not mean that I'm healthier. Weight does have quite a bit to do with it, but it's not the end all be all. It's not all about weight. It's other factors too. I just feel like crap. I want to curl up in a ball and I just want to cry. I've cried enough since yesterday and I'm not going to cry on camera again. I'm not going to do it again, I swear. At least not for a while. But I know that I can turn things around. The surgery is going to help me feel better. It's going to help with my tightness in my chest. It's going to help with my chest pains. It's going to help with the tenderness in here. It's going to help me keep away from the foods that are causing me all these issues, all these fats, and all this, And then diabetes is going to help me stay away from all the sugar. My body is telling me, hey, that's enough of this crap. Time to fix shit. So, I mean, that's what I'm taking this as, really, is my body is saying that's enough. Quit playing. This is really it. My body is saying, you've been saying this is your last chance. Well, buddy, this is your last chance. I'm telling you right now, this is your last chance. So, that's what it is. It's my last chance. And I am on my way to doing what I need to do. I lost 14 pounds. So obviously I know I can do it. And I'm hurting a little bit. So if you see me kind of struggling with breathing, or if I, do this, just having a moment. And I know it's probably the gallbladder because it hurts right in here. So, and my chest is starting to feel tight. So, anyway, that's been my last 2 days. Lots of not so welcome news. A little bit of welcome news. Take the bad with the good with the bad. Move on. Keep going. I think that's going to be like my big thing. I've noticed that I keep saying that. Just keep going. And I might just finish my videos with that. That might be like my catchphrase. Just keep going. Maybe. We'll see. But yeah, right now I'm not feeling so hot about it. I don't think anybody could blame me for not feeling so hot about it, but I'm not gonna let it consume me. I'm gonna try not to let it consume me. And try not to let it consume me. That's probably easier said than done, especially with the mental health aspect of my health journey. I'm really just trying to remember what else I wanted to say, if there was anything else. Eventually I will find a video editor, and eventually you won't have to listen to me go, uh, eventually you guys won't have to watch that boring stuff, and my videos will be a little bit shorter. But anyway, that's where I'm at. I'm on my last chance. 246 pounds, down 14 pounds. Gotta get rid of my gallbladder. Possibly diabetic now. It sucks. It really sucks. If you are not to a point that you have any of these issues, I suggest you start now, because if you do get to that point, it's not gonna feel good. You're going to feel like me. You're going to wonder why you didn't just stick to what you were doing, why you didn't keep going. And if you're already at the point that I'm at, if you've had surgeries to get your gallbladder removed, or you are diabetic, um, don't give up, because there's still that silver lining. Eating better and doing a workout, moving, doing something, just moving your body, getting out there and moving your body will make a huge difference. So that's my story time. I hope everyone has a great day, and I want you guys to keep going. Just keep